Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be watching and reacting to UDJ here on the reality of $120,000 salary in the USA, and it has been revealed. Now, I don't know too much on this topic, but a friend of mine has been wanting me to watch this, so we'll go ahead and give it a little bit of a watch. I'll just be up front. I don't know what my insight will bring to this particular topic. I'm very poor. I am a poor man. I have a lot of bills. I have child support. I am a poor man, okay? So I am nowhere near $120,000. I wish I was. I really do. That'd be pretty awesome. But you know what? Maybe I can give a little bit of an insight because I do live in the US of A. I have lived in a larger city. So, sure, why not? The link to this video will be in the description down below. Let's go ahead and watch it, yeah?
Okay, so let's say you make $120,000 in United States, which is pretty common, and you probably have heard this that I'm making. So let's say you make $120,000 in United States, which is pretty common, and
Let me just look up the median the median wage. Hold on. So the median income of the USA is $39,982 per person. That's for a year, obviously. I would say 120,000 is not common. I would say you're in the upper percentile. I would say you're wealthy at that point.
you probably have heard this that I'm making 1 crore rupees in United States or $120,000, especially in the big cities like Bay Area, Seattle, New York. This is going to be like an average, starting salary, and it's totally possible. It's been glamorized so much. I want to show you what will you end up actually saving in your
Is it is do all Indians think that every single American is wealthy?
and even after earning so much, because you have to still pay taxes, and there's going to be cost of living and all of it. So let's break it
True.
down in these three.
Yeah, I mean he labeled off like what Seattle, Washington, like New York, stuff like that. The bigger cities, San Francisco. Yeah, the cost of living there is like stupidly high, insanely high. You're paying like so much more money just because you're living in one of those cities.
Cities, and maybe you tell me if you want to do this for another cities or something like that in the next video. But hopefully this will help you to understand, like, okay, even if I make 120,000, I might actually only save this much money. If you're new to this channel, my name is Yudi, and on this channel we talk about everything related to studying in United States, to getting a job, and immigration. So if you haven't already subscribed, then consider subscribing. Okay. And if you are back, then welcome back. All right, let's say you did make $120,000 a year without any taxes. So that means $10,000 will be your monthly.
Without any taxes? Well, I mean, if you're making 120,000 a year, your tax bracket, you're probably looking at what, like the upper 30-40% tax bracket wise, right?
Income, again, without any taxes, but you do have to file taxes. So let's start with tax, starting with federal tax. Now this is going to be about $1,500 per month. This will be same because this is a federal tax. Now there is state tax, and Bay Area is in California. New York is obviously.
Man, I used to live in South Dakota, and I loved not paying taxes. I need to move to Texas. That's the plan, or Florida. One of the two.
In New York State, and Seattle is in Washington. Bay Area, you will pay roughly $557 per month. New York State, you're going to be like $544 per month, and you also actually have to pay New York City tax, which will be extra.
Oh yeah, the New York City tax is insane as well. New York City is one of the worst cities to live in. That seems a little low for $120,000 a year salary. This seems a little low.
$320 per month In Seattle, good news, it's in Washington, it's a no state income tax, which means you don't have to pay any state income tax, which is mind blowing. But there is also something called FICA taxes, which is Social Security and Medicare. You do have to pay regardless of which city you are in.
Yep.
That's roughly going to be $765 per month. Now, this can be waived off, especially.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. That amount was specifically for the state income tax. I apologize. My brain, sometimes.
For the first 5 years. I'll put some of the IRS link in the description. You want to make sure, again, especially if you're from India, there's like some treaties between India and United States. You can waive this off. So make sure you're not paying it. And if you are, then you can let your HR people know that, hey, I'm not supposed to pay FICA taxes, and you can get the refund back, or you can claim it in your tax returns. Another thing that
That's
you will
interesting.
have is,
So what? Indians don't have to pay the FICA tax? I mean, is that just because, like, if you're not a citizen, if you're just there like on a job visa or something, then?
health insurance. Yes, you still have to pay health insurance. A lot of it will be paid by your employer, but you still have to pay your portion. And again, this depends on which plan you choose. I am assuming, because this is what I do, $500 per month, which is HSA plan, which is a tax deductible, which
God, it's so expensive.
means roughly $6,000. Again, if you are a single, this might be lower. If you are a family, which in my case I am, like me and my wife, so I can invest a lot more money of that HSA. I'll make a separate video about this whole thing, but in general, $500 is what the insurance will be. But let's say you did end up choosing like a HRA plan, which might be only $200 per month. So you might have some savings over there. But let's keep it for the simplicity, $500. Retirement savings. Now, something that you also get a benefit while working in United States, that you can have a 401k account, which is almost like your, a retirement account where you can invest certain percentage of your salary, assuming you do at least 3%, which will be roughly $300 per month. You're putting that. And again, this is where tax deduction. So if you put $300 every single month, that's $3,600, which you will deduct it from your overall.
Why does he have it like per day here? That's a little weird. This calendar's a little a little wrong, right? Yeah, I guess if you're making 120K, this is probably normal, right?
Salary, and you can then deduct that while you're filing your taxes. But hopefully you're doing it more than 3%, but at least 3% is what I would recommend. Now, one more thing I want to talk about quickly is that if you are an Indian in United States making money, then I'm assuming, just like me, you are also sending some money back in India for your parents, for paying.
They just introduced the remittance tax, or they're planning on introducing a remittance tax here shortly.
Of loan, for investing, whatever the purpose might be, but you might be doing that. And I have been in United States for more than 11 years now, and I have been sending money since like last 9 years. And trust me, I've used several different platforms, whether it be Remitly, Wise, or Zoom. And recently I came across Crobo Money, and trust me.
Is this his ad? Is this the ad? Yeah, okay. Crobo Money is the ad read. Okay.
They are by far the best when it comes to conversion rate. I am not kidding. You can look this up for yourself. You will find that they don't have any hidden fees, no transaction fees, zero transaction fees. Even if you're sending lower money like $50 or $100 for some quick transaction, you can still do that without having fees. But some platforms will charge you some fees on smaller amount and only give you zero fees if you do like $500 or $1,000.
Well, I don't mean to say anything bad about his ad here, but he listed PayPal here, and if you're doing a friends and family transfer, there's no fees on a friends and family transfer for PayPal. There's even a currency conversion in there that I don't believe takes any fees via the currency conversion either. And then you can send it to a bank account with no fees as well.
You don't have to do it. Plus, they believe in their product and security. They're super transparent about it.
Maybe it's different though if you're sending it to an account from India. I don't know.
Anything goes wrong. And because you're part of this community and my community, you can get a special $25 Amazon gift card for your first transaction, which is over $500. I'll put the link in the description. Go ahead and check it out. And again, thank you Crobo Money for sponsoring this video. Let's talk about cost of living. This is where the game start to change a little bit. Bay Area will cost you roughly $2,200 to $2,500. This is if you live alone.
That's an apartment. That ain't the cost of living for a single month. That's an apartment. That's rent.
I know one of my best friends used to live in Fremont area, and that was $2,300 for a 1-bedroom apartment, which is crazy. But let's say you do end up deciding to live with your roommates. Maybe you have like a 2-bedroom apartment and you have your own room. this might be roughly $1,200 to $1,500.
Crazy.
In New York, this is very similar, $2,200 to $2,500 if you live alone, or same like $1,200 to $1,500 with roommates. This can go even lower.
This is why I don't like living in the city. This is why I don't like it's so expensive. It's super expensive. Right now I live about an hour out of a major city, a major city of my state, and I have a two bedroom house with, you know, living room, dining room, kitchen area, front yard, backyard. I have a nice stone patio back in the back as well in the front as well. Very, very, very big backyard, driveway. I pay 650. I have two walk-in closets, 650 a month. And then that same thing in New York would be thousands and thousands of dollars. But I guess I miss out on the glitz and the glamour of living in a major city, I guess.
If you end up deciding to live with students, because you know sometimes this can go lower, but let's keep it simple. But Seattle in this case is slightly cheaper. It will be $2,000 to $2,200 if you live alone, and it can go even lower if you live in suburbs. Like instead of Seattle, you can live in like Redmond or Bellevue, something like that. So it could go lower. And let's say if you end up having a roommate, it might be only $1,000 to $1,400. So we'll keep the ranges so that way you have a good idea of like, okay, it could be minimum this much, maximum this much. Now, assuming you
That's
don't have like a
expensive.
very fancy and luxury car, but you do have a car and you have a car loan, so another $500 per month.
Yeah, that's about average. Yeah, cars are a bit expensive here, but they're a necessity just because of the distance and the travel and the lack of better transport, I guess, public transport. But I guess if you're in a bigger city, the public transport's a little bit better. But yeah, cars are pretty much a necessity. Yeah, 500's about average. Yeah.
This could be more if you end up having a fancier car. And with the car, you also have to pay insurance. Yes, and that's going to
Insurance
cost
is a
a lot more
pain.
money, especially if you're
Yeah.
a first driver, like you don't have a driving experience, then your insurance cost goes higher, and then over time it is lower. So don't get into accidents, because if you have accidents, then the insurance cost goes higher. So roughly $250 per month will be your car insurance. Another thing that you will have
It's a
is
bit pricey,
cost of
but
living.
yeah.
Like you want to, like now you're working, so you'll have foods, eating out, bills, grocery, fun activities, watching movies, outing once or a couple times a month. In Bay Area, New York will be pretty much similar, roughly $1,500 per month. Seattle, this is slightly lower, which is roughly $1,200 per month. So you save a little bit over there. Now let's calculate all of this, putting
That's I don't. What are they doing? What are they doing that it costs $1,500 extra a month?
together as a monthly cost. Assuming you don't have a student education loan. Like if you do have an education loan, then obviously this will increase another 500, whatever that EMI is. For Bay Area, the total savings that you could have after $10,000 of salary will be roughly $1,600 to $1,800 per month, or roughly $19,000 to $22,800.
Oh no, I'm saving $22,000 a year, guys. Oh no, I'm poor.
$100 per year. In New York, you could save roughly $1,300 to $1,600 per month, or roughly $15,600 to $19,200 per year. But in Seattle, you could actually save $3,000 to $3,300 per month, or roughly $36,000 to $39,300 per year. So obviously Seattle wins when it comes to savings, especially not having a state income tax is like good, and slightly lower cost of living compared to New York and California. Now I know that New York might seem the most expensive, but also keep in mind that we did consider car payment, and most people in New York actually end up using public transport. So you might save that $500 because you might not have car, and you might just use the public transport, and you have a pass because you will be using subways and trains. So again, it depends on your usage, etc. But in general, I think you will still save more in Seattle. That is what I've seen. Let me know what other cities you would want me to compare next. And if you are in one of these cities, does this feel like natural? Does this feel, hopefully you're say. So I just wanted to provide you the reality that yes, even if you are making $120,000, doesn't mean that that's what you will have savings at the end of the year. You might only have like $20,000 saved.
You might only have $20,000. Median income of the USA is $40,000 a year. I don't know why he wanted me to watch this video. I'm too poor for this video, clearly. Um, okay. I don't know why he wanted me to watch this video. But yeah, okay. I live in Seattle, but apart from housing, the Bay Area does not feel more expensive. In fact, it's easier to get cheaper food in the Bay Area than in Seattle. Maybe. I'm a single guy in New York City working in tech, and the numbers UD gave are surprisingly accurate. I would say, yeah, the numbers are accurate. What he said, I agreed. Numbers are fairly accurate. I make less than 120,000 per year living in Chicago, have my own bedroom, pay car payments for my Toyota Highlander, and save more than double compared to your Bay Area rates. It's still about what you want to versus what you need versus what you choose to want and need. Yeah, if you're spending like what I don't even know what a person would be spending extra like 150,000 dollars extra on top of everything else. Like what are you even buying at that point, right? I work at a gas station and make $2,500 in Georgia. No savings, only debt. I'm assuming 2,500 a month is what he's saying there. Illegal working in gas station, bro. You deport. You cannot do that on F1 visa. Bro, give your Instagram. I'd want to talk to personally. I wouldn't do that. He's making 2,500 a month. I'm assuming that's a month, right? Weird. Accurate. It made about 128,000 in Seattle and saved 4K, sometimes 4.2. No car payment. My car was bought cash by parents. Lucky. Don't have to send money home and saved a lot in grocery shopping by eating and packing food from the office. That's pretty good. Texas living expenses, no 401k, monthly net income after taxes, medical insurance, deduction, shared rent, yada 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 yada. Um, okay, yeah, I would say Texas is probably a better place to go, honestly. That's a lot of income and savings compared to Canada. Here, the average starting pay is 75,000 Canadian, which is about 55,000 USD. I've seen the web developers with a salary of 50,000, 60,000 Canadian, which is around 40,000 USD. The taxes and I mean, hold on. Let's just go back. This is about if you're in a good job, this is probably like the starting salary here in the US as well, to be honest with you. The taxes and cost of living is ridiculously high and save less than 1,000 a month personally with average income, even after driving a 12-year-old car and living in a shared apartment. So be happy what you're making in the US, guys. I think people have I don't think people understand the reality of living in the US. Hmm. Investing in alternative income streams should be top priority for everyone right now. What Bitcoin, stocks, gold, silver, virtual currencies are still attractive investments at the moment. Yeah, 100% are. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but Bitcoin is pretty good. Hey, I lived in Kansas City for a very long time. I could do one for Kansas City. I worked for Apple when I worked in Kansas City, so there's that, right? I don't work for Apple anymore, but I did work for Apple when I lived in Kansas City. Can you please compare Dallas as well, please? Constructive feedback, great production value, and I liked the overall presentation and your way of speaking, presenting. Rate you lower on how you presented this, and people will lose attention how you're telling stories. So you should have held a chart on one side of the screen showing gross. No, I ain't gonna read that. This is wrong. If you live in Manhattan, expect to pay 2.3 to 2.5K even with living with roommates. Housing in New York City is downright insane. It's downright crazy. Hi, can we use Krobo app from Mexico? Pesos to in R? No, just from USA. Was this man live in Mexico City or something? Mexico City's pretty big. Mexico City's pretty popular. San Diego. I have a sister that lives in San Diego. Pittsburgh. Many of my friends landed jobs with salaries around 250,000, which left me feeling very disappointed, upset. My offer was only 120,000. Oh no. My offer was 3 times higher than the median income of the United States. And I struggled emotionally that night. However, I've learned that some companies offer up to 350,000, especially in areas like Texas and the Bay Area. Even some employers in New York offer higher compensation. Why did my friend want me to watch this video again? If you're not happy with 120,000 USD per year in New York and you don't deserve that money, I would work for 50,000 USD in New York for the same job and are doing and be happy. I make only 70,000 a year working for the nonprofit. UD, please pick better topics for your videos. There are plenty of videos on income, budgeting, and savings on the internet. Only 20,000 smiley face, right? Like, oh no. Oh no, guys. You might only have $20,000 in savings. That's funny. That's funny. What's your religion? Not a penny for charity. Even atheists, agnostics give charity in this country. That's not true. 2% of your income to charity. Most of the people only give to charity if they want to write it off their taxes. You got it wrong. Why did US and pay them taxes? Just stay in India and develop our nation? Only cowards go to US and run away from nation? I don't know. Interesting. Well, the what is this? Married with kids, just forget it. Still USA better than Germany? No one wants to move to these expensive cities. Dallas, Austin, Houston, Atlanta is the one you should be comparing. True. Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. 100%. Cheaper places, probably better to live in as well, to be honest with you. Wait, this only had 2 comments before, but now it has 4? Yes, but they can't deport all Indian gas station workers. Around 37% of all gas station workers are Indian students or aliens. The US runs on illegal immigrants. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, well, there's that, guys. If you found that interesting, go check the video out. Let's see what else UDJ does here. What else do you do, UDJ? No H-1B lottery? Why so many Indians are moving back from USA? Maybe we'll watch this one next. Yeah? Well, next time. What's his most popular videos here? Think Before Coming to USA, Day in the Life in USA. A realistic college day in the USA. He got married to an American girl. Life is hard in the USA, but he got married to an American girl. That's funny. My Desi American Romantic Love Story. How I Met My Wife in America, Episode 1. American shocking reaction after seeing Mini India in USA. I'm buying this $400,000 house in Venice, Florida. Dude, 6 years ago, this $400,000 house is probably closer to $1 million house now. I can almost 100% guarantee that. It's probably like 840, 860, somewhere around there. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, guys. I'm going to go now. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.